An Americans with Disabilities Act complaint against management of the venue at International Club. On the evening of Monday, October 27, 2025, a disabled veteran of the Vietnam and Bosnia conflicts, accompanied by his wife and a guest, arrived at the venue at International Club for dinner. The weather conditions included steady rainfall. To ensure the safety and comfort of his wife and their guest, the veteran pulled up to the club's front entrance to allow them to exit the vehicle under the covered entryway before proceeding to park. The veteran's 13-year-old Chihuahua, a certified service animal, remained with his wife and accompanied her and their guest into the restaurant while the veteran parked. The dog has been the veteran's trained and loyal service companion for many years, providing essential support related to his post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. The animal is calm, well-trained, and accustomed to public settings. Upon entering the restaurant, the veteran's wife and guest were confronted by the restaurant manager, who stated that the dog could not be inside because, in her words, it was not an actual service animal. The manager went on to say, "What kind of service animal would be dressed in a tutu?" Despite the wife and guest explaining that the dog was a legitimate service animal for a disabled veteran, the manager continued to question its legitimacy based solely on its appearance. When the veteran entered the restaurant moments later, he found his wife visibly upset and in a heated discussion with the manager while their guest stood nearby. The veteran calmly identified himself as a disabled veteran and explained that the Chihuahua was his service animal, protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. The manager then stated that they would not be served and that the party would need to leave the premises if the dog remained present. She added that she once had a service animal herself and declared that this animal is not a service animal and is not serving any purpose. In an effort to defuse the situation, the veteran went outside in the rain to retrieve the dog's official service animal documentation from his vehicle to prove the animal's legitimacy. When he returned and offered to show the paperwork, the manager refused to look at it and reiterated that the group must leave voluntarily, warning that if they did not, she would call the authorities. Following a somewhat colorful exchange between the veteran's wife and the restaurant manager, the veteran, his wife, and their guest ultimately left the restaurant. The incident left the veteran and his family humiliated, distressed, and deeply disappointed, particularly given the veteran's long history of service to his country and the lawful status of his service animal. The manager's conduct and refusal to serve the veteran's party were discriminatory and in violation of ADA Title III, which protects the rights of individuals with disabilities to be accompanied by their service animals in all public accommodations. Federal law permits only two inquiries about a service animal. 1. Whether the animal is required because of a disability, and 1. What work or task the animal has been trained to perform. The appearance or attire of a service animal has no bearing on its legal status. The veteran's attempt to cooperate by providing documentation was ignored, and the threat to involve law enforcement further compounded the emotional impact of the encounter. The veteran respectfully requests that the venue at International Club conduct a formal investigation into this incident, provide a written apology to the veteran and his family, implement mandatory ADA and service animal compliance training for all staff and management, and establish a clear, written, non-discrimination policy to ensure that individuals with disabilities and their service animals are treated with dignity, respect, and legal compliance at all times.